Notice this meeting being held the 7th day of May 2026 at 7:30 p.m. has been provided in accordance to section 3D of chapter 231 of the public laws of 1975, commonly known as the Sunshine Law. Please rise to the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
York,
Here.
Nelson, here. Lindsay is excused. Cotton,
Here.
Letty,
This morning was supposed to be here.
okay.
Was,
O'Brien,
here.
Decker,
Here.
Mooney, here. Thank you.
Most of the public comment on the agenda.
Make a motion to open the public comment on the agenda items only.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Hello, Commissioner 27 Thomas. I got a question about 503/2026 on why these are being amended and updated.
Well, we can discuss it and share when we get to the ordinance.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other comment on the agenda? And just to clarify, this item is a part of the same statute that occupies the Sunshine Law. As to whether something should be on or stricken from the agenda, not to discuss it at this time. So I'm saying, I was not answering your question. Motion to close for public comment on the agenda item.
Make a motion to close.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Have a motion to adopt regular session minutes of April 16th, 2026.
I make a motion to adopt regular session minutes of April 16th, 2026.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I motion to adopt resolution 2026.46, self-examination of the year 2026 budget.
I make a motion to adopt that resolution on the budget.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I motion to adopt resolution 2026.47, hiring Karen Magetta as administrative assistant to the CFO.
I make a motion to adopt that resolution, hiring Karen.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have a motion to adopt resolution 2026.48, purchase of 2026 Ford F-550 regular cab and chassis 4x4 delivery wheel, dump body, and snowplow. What resolution?
I make a motion to adopt that resolution for purchasing the truck.
Have a second?
Second.
Before we vote, this truck was replacing a truck that was damaged and totaled in an accident last year. So it's not, it is a new purchase, but it was, and it wasn't a budget, it's not financed, but it was shared since it was not in our capital schedule. And I would ask for a roll call vote since it's a capital purchase.
Okay, Coletti is excused. Cotton,
Yes.
Lindsay is excused. Nelson? Yes. And York?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 2026.49, hiring alternate municipal planning board recording secretary.
I make a motion to adopt that resolution for the hiring of the planning board.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adopt resolution 2026.50, purchase of two 2026 John Deere diesel commercial Z-Track mowers for DPW.
I make a motion to adopt a resolution for that purchase.
Second.
And again, it's a capital purchase, roll call.
Coletti is excused. Cotton,
Yes.
Lindsay is excused. Nelson? Yes. And you?
Yes.
Thank
Thank you. There a motion to adopt resolution 2026.51, authorizing a service agreement with Ambassador Medical Services.
Make a motion to adopt that resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion to adopt resolution 2026.52, lien redemption, block 48, lot 76.
Make a motion to adopt that resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all know, Mr. Clerk, meeting at 7:36. I have a motion to adopt resolution 2026.53, the purchase of diesel fuel by the Morris County Cooperative Pricing Council.
I make a motion to adopt that resolution for that first purchase.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
A motion to adopt resolution 2026-54, appointing a municipal housing liaison.
I make a motion to adopt that resolution.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And a motion to pay all bills in the amount of $3,254,074.68. I'll share $1,404,248.15 of that for our local Bethlehem Township Board of Education. $702,068.15 is for the North 148th Regional High School District. $626,834.95 for county taxes. $62,617.44 is for the county library taxes. And $60,899.25 is for the county open space taxes. So again, the majority, do not have municipal tax, function. I have a motion.
I make a motion to pay the bills.
Second.
Second.
Roll call please.
Paletti,
Yes.
Cotton,
Yes.
Mr. Lindsay's excused, Nelson,
Yes.
and Muir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Decker, report of the engineer.
A few updates, start with DOT, Hickory Ridge, section 2. We received comments from DOT on the plans, those are going back in, I would expect them to approve that shortly, and then we can engage the Morris County Co-op to do the mill pave out there, that would complete the Hickory Ridge development. DOT has also announced that applications are being received for the fiscal year 2027 grant applications. And in speaking with Jeff, we've determined that Creswell and Johnson would be the next roads in that mix. We're running into the developments that are, 25, 30 years old, when pavements is starting to go on those. So we're going to see more of that with that development, Doug's, and a few more that happened in the 90s. Also, with regards to Heritage Park, the pickleball court has been paved. The asphalt needs to cure for a while before they can put the surface course on, so it adheres properly. The fitness court, concrete's been poured for that, the ceiling's been put on, and the equipment is scheduled to be, installation is scheduled to start on May 20th. The equipment is all over at DPW, so Jeff will arrange to get that over for May 20th. And then the only thing left, and Judy and I have spoken about this before, is there's opportunities for logos on the wall at the graphic. One of the logos will be the township. The other one that we're trying to get from the county is the county one, because we could get county funds for that.
Yeah, we wanted to thank the county because they were.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Okay, and then the third one, a thought is if we put, and these signs are, I don't know, maybe about 12 inches in diameter or something like that, is to put something stormwater management related, because then on an annual basis, you get points for that.
Sure, can we put a, QR code on that sign so that people can go right to the stormwater?
Sure.
Use page?
Yeah.
Right in.
But if we can do that, then that way it's points.
And there's also a Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield sign somewhere.
Oh, that's
Sorry, the biggest one?
That's prominent. That is prominent. I think that was part of the whole deal. So that goes in starts on the 20th. And then, I would expect it to be ready for, activity for some after.
Yeah, I bet if your residents ask, I seem excited, the people that walk the path.
Yeah, it's right by the path, so that as you're jogging or whatever, you can hop off the path, go do some CrossFit exercises, and then you can. Also, since I mentioned the points for reporting, we did submit by the deadline of May 1st, the annual DEP stormwater report that we have to do every year. And since then, we've also had communication with Chris and with Suzanne from the Environmental Commission. And the Environmental Commission is going to spearhead the local education points going forward to make sure that we meet our 12-point criteria I've sent some stuff to Suzanne, and maybe, you know, if the committee doesn't have any objection, you know, Suzanne and I can meet up for about half an hour, and I can get up to speed on that stuff.
That makes sense. Mr. Roger, thank you for, doing that, and helping out.
All right, so Suzanne, I'll be in touch and we'll set something up to go through
Sounds good.
it. Okay.
I did put in the, newsletter, one of the stormwater, flyers from their group website, which will be after May 1st, so probably count for next year, but.
Yes, no, actually, it's for calendar year.
Okay.
So what we submitted, what we just submitted was
That's-
2025.
Okay, so there's,
So-
I was gonna say,
Yes.
some of my updates, but it'll be going, it'll be.
Yeah, and being part of the Must Connect on watershed, the activities there, you get a bunch of points.
Okay.
From that, they actually issue us a letter saying how many points and so forth, so that's a plus. And then lastly is just an update that we do have this phase 2 or MS4 WIP that we have to do this year, we evaluate. Pollutant loadings and so forth, and actually the Must Connect on watershed is also has been doing stuff in parallel, so we'll be able to exchange information. Along with that, there's a new ordinance amendments for stormwater that we're gonna have to get through. That's also by the end of the year. And we also have to revise the township stormwater management plan, which has not been revised since the regulations first came out in, what was last time, in 2005 or 2006. So the state issued a new template, so we have to do that. And again, that's due by the end of the year. So the stormwater regulation is just kind of perpetual. And that's my ad.
Fine, thank you. Any questions, Mr. Member? And so I'm gonna ask you to stay, keep it one of the best discussions.
Actually, I have one question. So do we have any idea going into 2028? Which roads we might want to look at?
I have to talk, we haven't, you know, specified anything, because sometimes it can change. You have a hard winter and a road that was, you know, low on the list, all of a sudden didn't survive the winter very well and it kind of moves up. But I think we're probably looking at another development.
So if you look at the budget, there's a 3-year capital that has to be submitted with the budget.
Yeah.
So this year, Alpha and Old Schoolhouse were submitted, but then we did a resident from, Agbar reach out. So I shared with them the process would be between you and Jeff, really analyze what's there. So I think those, once hopefully Krebling and Johnson are funded, and then after that, those are probably the two.
I think so. Those are probably the next developments that were done after Krebel and Johnson.
Right.
I think Dubs was, and then Schoolhouse out there, we about that same.
They're about the same time, but we did try, you know, classify that way, torturing my own neighbors, because since I lived in the neighborhood, we tried chip seal in the development, because the nature of my development is just because of the steep slope, some of the roads were failing even earlier. And the cracks were, so we crack build and then chip seal, and there is a civil engineer that lives in my neighborhood who questioned the whole process, but in the end, it was like, it's like, it wasn't a success, but it didn't hurt anything, and so Apgar maybe before, because that kind of added some sort of lifespan.
Yeah, but we'll take a look, we'll check.
But we were trying, but as before DOT would approve, so we were trying to find, we looked at like cold in place recycling, we tried the chip seal, or, you know, different.
Now that DOT has warmed up to doing development roads. Because we're starting to run a little late on the main local.
Thank you. There's no old business under new business, it's the introduction of ordinance 503/2026, salary ordinance, have a motion introduced.
Motion to introduce that ordinance.
Have a second? Second. Before we approve, we'll explain, I don't know, what you want to add, but it is the salary ordinance, that's out there. So, if we hire anybody or create new positions and or, each year, there's, salary raises, cost of living increases, these, if you look, these are, you know, brackets low and high, sometimes eventually, because this salary ordinance has been around for 40, 50 years. So every once in a while, that top bracket is too low to accommodate the cost of living increase, so it has to be amended. But that's what's happening here. So the ones that are getting adjusted are all on the sheet. And you may even see us do this like mid-year, we could hire somebody for the position that didn't exist, but this is just kind of standard to be able to allow for cost of living increases to be within the resolution. Or,
This is not done in January? Oh, I'm sorry.
sure, we got a motion open to the public.
I make a motion to open to the public.
Second? All in favor?
Was this not done in January? I remember first or second meeting of the year seeing a sheet.
There, like, may have been some initial, because the DPW has a contract, so theirs is automatic. Okay, so it's a resolution versus endorsement. So, so they're two separate items. Well,
Okay, thank you.
sometimes we don't calculate these till later. Like I said, the DPW is, contract, so we know what they are, but then, office staff is based on, annual reviews. Any other questions? A motion to close public comment?
And make a motion to close public comment.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
And the, motion is live on the floor. All those in favor? Aye. Abstention. Okay, so the public hearing will be June 18th, 2026 for that. Reported municipal zoning official was emailed, reported Department of Public Works, was well emailed, Ms. Marie.
They've been doing a lot of buildings and grounds, spring cleanup up here around the buildings, down at the park. Some trees had come down on the walking trail, they had taken those off, they've taken all the salt spreaders and the plows, put them away. And we're just talking about roads, they were repairing some of the Belgian blocks around town that had cracked over the winter. But the big one that I want to really thank them for, because it was really lousy weather and it was miserable, and I was up here for it, was cleanup day on the 25th. And they did a really good job accommodating the seniors, on the 23rd.
They helped, seniors or anybody else without physical ability, they went to 33 houses.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'll thank you later as well. Thank you for being there for the tree.
and I want to thank the environmental commission too, because, there were a bunch of members there. Yeah, Suzanne. But a couple of the other members were.
I'll share too, I think, they're being advertised now, but we have 2 openings on our DPW, so anybody knows anybody looking for work for the most amazing town in all of New Jersey, and wonderful DPW, Jeff is an amazing supervisor, so please share that, the ads will be momentarily, and it might already be on the website.
Yes.
Reported tax collector was emailed, reported animal control official, is tabled, reported environmental commission, I believe was also tabled, reported open space committee, Mr. Dennis.
Yeah, this is a good report, but I thought important that I'm gonna make a pitch for a proposal that I included in the report. But yeah, at the beginning of the year, I got an email from Paul saying we were in jeopardy of losing our office space funding from Green Acres because we didn't have much activity for the last few years. So after making a few phone calls and being denied quite a few times, a couple of the property owners had second thoughts, and one has agreed to go forward with the Green Acres acquisition, provided the appraisals come in to their satisfaction. And we're in the process right now of negotiating, putting together a partnership agreement between the four parties. Details are in the report on that one property. On the second one, it's also a property that's been bouncing around for a few years, and we did get interest this time, but these things move slow, and still trying to convince the property owner to sign on the dotted line to get the Green Acres process going. But the main reason I came here, and when you get a chance to look at my report, in that report, I'm requesting that, we do something with the, open space properties that the township owns. Similar to what was done with the Public Works Department, with the roads, where we came up with a system years ago to fund the high priority property, roads, to maintain them. Now, the township has acquired at least, I'm not sure how many, but a dozen or more properties over the last 20 years. And some of those properties people don't even know where they are. Some of them, there were access points to them. Now they're overgrown. Some of them had trails. Now you can't find them. And in some cases, even the property owners next to the preserved land don't know where the property boundaries are, and people putting picnic areas on their property, fences up on our property, horses on our property. And so I think it's time, considering what the intent of the open space and recreation plan was, which is it's an element of our master plan. And we've committed to follow that master plan, and we created the open space trust fund to implement that element. Something that we haven't done. We've spent quite a bit of money tonight. I even heard a lot of money spent on Heritage Park, and that's great. But I think we need to also start funding the maintenance of our open space properties, open them up for our public. Put a map together to provide our residents, open up the trails so they go hiking, walking, bird watching, whatever they want to do. But anyway, that's not being done. We have a great inventory, a very precious resource which is not being utilized. So what I'm suggesting and requesting is that, just like with the road department, we make a priority list of properties, open space properties that preserved. We go in there and start initially, at least surveying those properties. We did purchase a couple of property 2 years ago now. In that purchase agreement with Green Acres, we said that we were going to provide access to that property from Turkey Hill Road. I've gone out there a number of times trying to find the markers, but I could not find them. So what I'm suggesting is that we start with surveying that property, not the individual lots, because it's 5 or 6 lots, but at least the exterior boundaries. So once we know that, we can open up the access point and create a path, next trail. I mean, it's close to up to over 200 acres. So it's a great resource. I mean, we can become like the Colorado Springs of New Jersey with all our trails, So that's what I'm requesting, that the township please consider doing that, setting that as a goal. And again, having Tom's firm or whoever, we have the survey maps. We kind of can get within 50 feet of some of those points. But get that started, get the survey with our own money, which is there for that reason. And then maybe next year, pick another property. There's one property that I'm hoping we get this year. Is across the street from the convent school. It's adjacent to another maybe 200, 300 acres of properties that we've preserved over the years. So that would be a great resource to give to the county school. To set up, if we acquire this property, set up a trail, nature trail, they could even have classes, along that trail. And you could walk, again, you could walk from college school through this property, all the way past Charlestown Road and over the top of the mountain. So that's, a long distance, several miles. I'm not sure I know all that. But anyway, please put it on the agenda.
I fully support it, I love the idea, I don't think any, I don't speak for any committee members, but. Sure, Jay.
So I'm very much in line with you, I've seen all this property and a couple of things that I'd like to see being used this property for is, kind of like maybe geocaching and starting to add stuff like that. One, to get kids out of the house is the first thing I'm thinking about, get kids active using these trails. So that's something that, I wanted to present to the board, also using geocaching to get the kids out of the house. But the second thing with geocaching, I've spoken to, Attila at Muddy Waters. I haven't approached Spain or Jersey's yet, but maybe as a prize, you go out and find this thing, take a picture of the QR code and go get a free drink or a free dessert. If you're a minor, you get a dessert. If you're an adult, you get a drink.
A beer?
Use that would promote both, the town.
Yeah.
And the local restaurants here.
Yeah.
So that's something I've been thinking about, and it's a matter of how do I implement it, but, I agree, I see all this property that we've preserved and, I've done a lot of hiking around it, and I'm just amazed that no one's there.
Yeah, no, it's
It's beautiful, it's
Yeah.
spectacular,
Yeah.
I see eagles. I totally agree with doing more to make access, the question is how and to get the funds to do it.
right. Well, we have the funding available.
Yeah.
So we've kind of reached, so this has been a point of interest, and I'm going to use the word concern, because we have the open space tax for the floor. Heritage Park is kind of, we need to maintain it, there's a cost always there, but we've kind of reached the point of terminal investment as far as what should be put there appropriately. And so, almost 2 years ago, I did speak to a local resident about some horse trails. We talked about walking trails. I met with Mr. Grimstall, the environmental commission chair, about 3 weeks ago. Had the same conversation with him. He was starting to walk some trails and already gave me some feedback for some areas that he would like to see that we could connect trails that have been kind of abandoned, that we could reconnect relatively quickly. It was interesting because I presented the same to Mr. Grimstall. There's I met with a couple here in New Jersey. They participate in the AKC, they're like sporting dog competitions, and they go to Virginia. And I said, is there any place in New Jersey? And they said, no. And I said, well, I have 2,000 preserved acres in Bethlehem Township. Would you host these for those that would be public access, but would you host them here in Bethlehem? And so the local AKC regional manager is meeting me in a couple of weeks, and we're gonna go to look at some of the properties. So I'll talk to you more about that if you'd like to join us to go see them. But long story short, we need to, one, create access, maintain it, and then let people enjoy these in the appropriate way.
Well, again, the first step is to survey these
Yes.
properties, because otherwise you don't know where you're walking.
You don't know how to get there yet.
So, I don't know, thank you very much, and,
We work
you
together.
have a very light, agenda. So it'd be easy to add, take care of it. And I'm sure Tom would be happy to do this work.
I say,
And we did have that one trail going on the water supply property. At the beginning of the year. And it failed because of uncontrollable issues. But there are companies also out there that will build and maintain the trails. So, we don't have to put this burden, on the Public Works Group if we don't want, but we have options.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie. Sure, everyone still public comment?
Motion for the public comment?
Second, all in favor?
Suzanne Wilder. Can I ask John a question?
Sure.
So are you talking about just township owned properties or county properties or all preserve properties?
Well, to begin with, it would be, only Bethlehem Township.
John, do you mind,
To the, yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, we don't need permission
Right.
for some of these properties because they're Bethlehem Township properties. Water supply properties, which again, we're partnership with water supply, we're partnership with
The
the county. Those we would have to have agreements with them. And that's the problem we have with the one property that it was ready to go. You were there, right? You walked the property of Charlestown Minor. They were there. But
Drawing a blank, but.
there's one process issue there, I think we can rectify something.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess what I'm also trying to get at is I know Oliver was looking at the county and the Clinton, the Musconetcong Wildlife Management Area, so just making sure we're all on the same page. And as far as like process, like when do you see this happening and how, like just kind of visualizing?
Well, I made a recommendation for Culbertson.
Just-
Which, you know, it would be nice to do it this year. If this deal goes through, with the property across the county school, I would say that would be the second one, you know. But we would have to come up with a way to prioritize these.
Yeah, like John was saying, like we have a 3 to 5 year, we have usually 3-year time horizon on roads, we have a 5-year capital investment on equipment, we would now add this into that process, so it'd be another spreadsheet of about 5 years and take care of access and maybe, you know, interior between access, maybe, you know, trail restoration.
I do have a question though, with that, when Joy Vision volunteers helping out, clearing out, because that's always your biggest challenge is getting bodies out there.
I'm a volunteer, okay, but.
You are the open space guru, we know that, that's for sure.
There are firms that'll do it.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
It's a mix.
yeah.
The building is one thing, maintenance is the problem, and I don't know if this was a property John was referring to, but the county property on the cul-de-sac on the one road that comes off of, Roundsville, there's a cul-de-sac, and on that site plan, there's an easement from the county park. Mr. Bogart put that in specifically so the children could go from the county school to Charlestown Preserve. And when I tried getting that trail through there, they have a trampoline there, they got all mad at me and blah, blah, blah. But there is a physical easement on one of the properties that they took over with their lawn. Now that's county, not township, but it's a similar
Yeah.
thing. And on Ludlow Station, they had the horses there, I remember that.
And I just, like John said, I'm dealing with a similar issue with one of our properties on the edge of Bethlehem and Union. That somebody was using it for hunting, and it was our private. Tom was there, and we got the water authority involved, so it's shared property between Bethlehem and the state and the water authority, so. But it happens because they're not used, they're not marked. But I think the point is we can address each one of those as we find them, we're not gonna solve the. You know,
Yeah,
the whole
I
issue.
think even the county properties are not always very well marked, some of them. That I know for sure.
Come on, take it up with them.
Well, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, it is a
Once we set for this program
Maybe
and
we set this a precedent, they wanna be part of it.
and I know that like there was that grant, just, but we were too late, I remember I forwarded you, so there is grants also to maintain, build and stuff, but take somebody to coordinate it all.
Paul, putting my Scoutmaster cap on, this is a great opportunity for the scouts, trail maintenance and certain kinds of service hours.
I'm telling you, so yes and no. Okay, so when they did the township property on Ludlow Station Road, it was an Eagle Scout project.
Yeah.
And I brought up maintenance, and they said, we can't talk about maintenance. The scout troop said, nope, can't talk about maintenance, that trail no longer exists. And they go, the kids party in the parking lot there. And I'm not saying they won't, or they can't, but
I'll send my troop on.
yeah.
They can make, it's a different, I think an Eagle Scout project and redoing it is different than the maintenance project that the troop will do, so they will.
But I did ask and I was told, no, I can't even talk about it. so-
I think it'll be a different answer now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there was always the, well, the ticks, I get that a lot from
We like all of it.
ticks and poison ivy.
So, a local, what I'm getting at is a local trail for a local scout troop. It's good for warming up for larger hikes, things like that, and they can help with blazing trails and markers and, and after it's established, we do trail maintenance all the time as a service.
I was just, I'm on the Arrowhead District Council, we just had our council meeting last night, and there are two Bethlehem residents that are on the council. You're a different council, but, there's desire to do it, and there's some discussions, and I think the numbers have grown, so they're looking for, activities, and looking also for visible activities. I think trail maintenance is a very visible activity, something that they can share, to garner additional members and community support.
Well, the thing is, if we can get that assistance from them, we'll take from anybody. There's opportunities for everyone. Boy Scouts, again, Eagle Scout projects, sometimes they're begging for projects. Maintenance, not so much, but, the thing is, if we have to, I know Public Works, you're looking to hire people, you'll have enough. But you can fund that with office space money too. You can fund a position if you want to, so we could be creative and get it to work one way or another.
Yeah, like the Musconetpa Watershed Association hired a steward that now does the trail at the resource center and brush hogs in.
Yeah, we could hire, like I said, dedicated, person to the open space.
The New York, New Jersey Trail Conference, they wanted to put a trail across Culleton, connected to the properties across the street,
Yep,
Waterbury. But they couldn't find boundaries. And so they gave up on it.
Well, Culverson, we just did, like I said a couple of years ago, our office has the whole survey for.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we just have to go out and market it.
marketing property.
And a phone call to New York, New Jersey Trail Conference, that might be all it takes for them to come in and start, work the trail, so. So anyway, okay, well, thank you very much.
No, thank you, Senator. Now, report from communities, table, sure there'll be an extensive report once we settle the cleanup day. Report of Township Attorney.
Just very briefly, we held the Harding County Tax Board hearings on Wednesday. The tax board is available for any municipal, any owner of commercial or residential property to file an appeal. The board is a CPA, a lawyer, and a member of the public. And what you do is anybody can go before the board and present comparable sales. We had one trial, it's really just an informal hearing. So we had resolved, I think we had about 25 tax appeals for 2026. Again, remember, April 1st is that deadline. It's a strict deadline. If you file after that, the county board won't hear you. And Laura Whitaker, who's been really great to work with, settled all but one that couldn't reach a resolution on. And we went to the hearing and believe the township prevailed, but we will get a reserve decision on that. So that was this week.
Thank you for that. Any questions from Mr. Rudd?
Yeah, strong numbers, I will say, continued. So we've got great crops in Bethlehem, which is good for people trying to uphold the uphold assessed values.
No, I just say, I do watch to see what homes are being sold, and there's some very strong values on the market. They sell relatively quick.
Yeah.
Report of personal technical support, Brian, Ms. Nelson.
Don't know if this will be part of Jen's report or not, but, did we we finished all the cabling between the two buildings, correct? Yesterday. Yeah, so to get some of the improvements over in the community center, so that was officially completed. We're going to be meeting with our, business development manager for our IT company and go over some invoicing and contractual issues that we might be having. And then, Jeff, we've been kind of tabling this discussion. It's not an official discussion item tonight. But I've been kind of mentioning over the course of this year about the acoustics in this room, and I know you couldn't be here the one day. And they were up here. And so we could probably take most of this discussion offline, but I think we're gonna need your help, because you're better at this than I am when it comes to some of the hardware issues, but it's very limited as to what I think we can do.
What'd you say?
But so I think we can maybe present it as a discussion item the next meeting, but meet with you over perhaps upgrading the owl. Apparently this is kind of limited, which is why it is very important that the public come up to the owl, because its range is pretty limited. Maybe doing something with cameras and a couple of more speakers on top of the TV and some sound panels, but we can, again, I don't want to bore everybody with these details, and then we can.
Judy, it's been perfect tonight. It's been absolutely perfect. The real problem is in planning board meetings where there's multiple people talking at the same time.
I mean, if it's gotten better, but I still get complaints from people.
Yeah, we always make it better, so.
Yeah, I mean.
Tonight has been perfect.
Complaints ever since we started these hybrid meetings for a couple of years now, or 3 years, I think.
That's the first generation.
Yeah, that's first generation, so that, if we don't, I would rather not spend money to purchase something, but I've been told that that's not really adequate for a room this size. So, again, we'll take it offline and present it at the next meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
we wanna get together on this.
Let you know around some of your schedule, okay? Most afternoons are better for me. So, okay?
Okay.
All right, that's it.
Thank you. Anything else to add as roads for tonight?
Yes, although Jeff doesn't know about this yet, we have put in the budget $10,000 for tree removal.
Well, I know we put in the budget.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that I'm actually getting around to him doing this. So, so he doesn't realize I'm gonna be, after his vacation, which is next week, we're gonna get quotes and kind of canvass the town and see if there's any trees in the township right away that we can now further take down. I don't know how many we'll be able to do with the money we budgeted for, but it's always
Yeah,
good.
that's good. Then we learned a lot last year, and so we kept it in the budget and
Yep,
consider it part of the maintenance at this point.
correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
Report joint professional service coordinator, that's myself. Just reporting the Alexandria Court officially started with the Beth and Woodsbury joint April 15th. I would say it was nearly as seamless as a court transition can be. With some new signage as well, as you can see on the building around town, indicating where the court is, but welcome to Alexandria, and so far very smooth. Thank Ms. Mooney and our court staff, Mr. Godnick is our attorney, to getting through all that process. Again, there's a lot to it, and good transition, so thank you. Report of Highlands Council, Vernon, Ms. Nelson.
Nothing tonight.
Report of governing body members, Mr. Clay.
Yeah, so one of the things I've been doing some research on noise ordinance. You've got a lot of experience in this. One of the things that I found in New Jersey online is that we have a boilerplate template that basically a boilerplate for a noise ordinance that many towns have adopted already. Specific things that I like about it is that it actually puts out specific noise levels, around 65 dBm. And where this can help us is when people are coming in, now they have to comply with that and prove they have to comply with that. And we'll meet that spec. So for example, if somebody is putting in a generator or something like that, if it's a big industrial generator, how do you show that? And it's actually very easy to do that. You can sit there and use math to calculate it all out. They do these simulations also with cell towers. It's the same exact things. It's waves or waves. You can do it like that. Also, I imagine there are complaints, I'm sure, coming in because I hear from people about, people riding bikes, stuff like that, shooting in their yard. This noise ordinance addresses that, where they've got two different types of people for enforcement. One is the inspector, which does not have to have a certification and go out and approach people. And that's something basically anybody can do. I can train people on how to do that myself. There's also a noise compliance person who would have to be certified through the Rutgers program, which would be able then to issue fines if there's not. My hope would be that we say, look, you're making a ton of noise here, your neighbors. How do you do that? You can do that with a simple sound pressure meter. Again, I've used these things extensively throughout my career. It's very easy to show that, well, this is a problem. And I know you mentioned about, there's a lot of ambient noise down by the highway. But again, you can go back to math on that. You can go back to math where you can turn something on and then turn it off and measure the difference. So even if it's 1 dB, if the ambient noise is 75 dB and you see a 1 dB change, well, that means you're probably around 70 dB or something like that. And you can actually work it backwards from the math by calculating back out, because noise has as a root, some root of squares. So again, it's easy to do. It's easy to show people that they are in compliance, something like that. You could also go closer to the noise source. So again, if it was a chainsaw or a motor, generator, something like that, you can go at a meter. And every time you take a step, or double the distance back, and you'll drop your SPL by 3 dB. So if I'm standing 3 dB away from that noise source, which would be the owl for this thing, if I took 2 steps back and if I took a step back and it was at 77, take 2 steps back or another step back and it would be down 3 dB. And I would take 4 steps back and it would be, and you just keep doubling it. And you can use that as an idea to give you a better, more knowledge on what the real noise is and what the contributions are to the surrounding neighborhood. Again, it's a simple boilerplate. I think I stopped counting at 6 towns that had adopted it already. I mean, the only question I got is getting a compliance officer, which I think we can probably find someone, and then the process will be also saving, but I'm looking more at an industrial base than a neighbor to neighbor base.
We've had these challenges before, we looked at it, I think, one of the things we didn't know how to get around, Mr. Ryan's asked Mr. Decker to stay, is that, in the past, we've had noise issues here in municipal buildings, since we're in a residential zone, we've had noise complaints other places. But I think that even with the boilerplate ordinances, how and when you get there, like, you actually have to capture the noise when it's happening, which is an extremely difficult thing to do. So maybe it's worth having something as a backstop in case we can do it, but the enforcement is, I found it, the way described to me, extremely difficult.
It can. So, okay, let's take the yard here. So if someone's complaining about the motor running, I can come in here with a sound meter and sit there and listen to it 3 feet away or a meter away, depending on what standard you want to use. And then I can calculate backwards that, okay, this neighbor here is going to hear that at about 68 dBs. And okay, that's not good. So now as the township, what do we want to do? Do we want to tick off our neighbors, or do we fix the problem? The other thing I think about is that, as we're trying to pull in more ratables and stuff like that, well, 173, again, it is something that's pulling in noise, creating noise. Having the level in an ordinance, we can now ask them when they are coming to us to put in this property, how will you meet this ordinance? So similar to, radio tower that they put up there, they were able to draw a line and show, you know, the radius of what they needed and what would be covered. You can do that exact same thing with the noise.
Do we have something already, because I know we've approved cell towers, the backup generators and.
So backup generators are exempt.
It was, I think, I thought we did put in that, you know, maybe it wasn't a backup generator. I've been part of cases here where we put in the resolution, you know, it can't exceed whatever decimal level at the property line, for certain projects.
This is a really common topic in Somerville, when you're putting emergency generators with 3-foot setbacks to your neighbors, so it's very common to have acoustical engineers testify. The basics are 50 decibels during the day from, I think it's 7 AM to 10 PM. And then, or I'm sorry, 65 in the day and 50 at night. And then they allow for what's called impulsive characters to not exceed 80 decibels. So that's, you know, like a bang of a hammer or an impact wrench or backup lights for, you know, for trucks and trailers. Keep that in mind.
I will say, we pioneered, because we didn't want to be good neighbors when I went through the town. We pioneered the use in, I think, I'm gonna say maybe even in the country, of the European backup alarms here. Amazon, if you listen to an Amazon truck, that whooshing backup, we had them here at Bethlehem Township over 10 years ago. I ordered them from Hella Corporation in Germany, and had them shipped here because they weren't available in our country yet. We put them on our trucks, in the yard because we were trying to, now, like I said, Amazon uses them everywhere, and they are readily available in the US, but.
It's typically the zoning officer is empowered with enforcing, but you're right, it's very difficult to get specific, unless it's a, you know, it's a noise that's constant.
Right.
But it's really good for the planning.
But there's like, somebody have to comply, like we say, like, you out and say, you know, we can test the chainsaw, but they don't have to comply, you would have to be there when they're.
They
using
don't
it.
have to,
Right,
you know,
that's the, I'm just saying, that's the tough part.
It's, nothing's gonna be easy, I mean, to me, having it on the planning board and having it as an option for the planning board to say, you gotta be, put something in is the really important thing.
I mean, it is state law that you can enforce as is, and you can't, the municipalities can't have more restrictive noise regulations under the Noise Act. So absolutely, we can enforce the state regulation for noise. Typically what we're seeing is, you know, let's say you'll get an emergency generator that'll have a factory spec. The civil engineer and a site plan will give their opinion, and then as a resolution compliance item, then they'll have to come and actually approve it with a decimeter. So you can do it as like almost like an as-built drawing.
Yeah, it's typically they'll come in and you'll have the manufacturer's noise and then they'll use the same equation that you had mentioned, Jeff, you know, where you can, you know, every.
Right, it's all about revenue.
And then project at the, you know, the distance from where that noise generator is to the property line.
Right, it's to the property.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, it's to the property.
Yeah. So it can be loud, but if it's on a large lot, you can't measure it from source, you have to measure it from the land.
So is there a template that, and with that, is something like, is that something we could even start as a committee and then send to the, or should we start on the planning board?
Well, there's, you know, I went through 6 towns and they literally copied the template verbatim from New Jersey.
You have to.
Yeah.
So we can put it here and just send it for adventure planning compliance. So if I could ask everybody then.
And a lot of them, you know, as some of the other towns, Hunter County, defaults to the county health department.
Well, that's what we had, like, we have been following, so as I said, it's not that we haven't ignored it, because we don't have local ordinance, we follow the states. And we've had the county, health department with their noise meter in multiple properties, including here, over the years that I've been involved.
But to your point earlier, it's being there and the county's not coming out at 11 o'clock at night to measure noise.
Yeah, and you have to comply, like, you know, I just shared my incident was because somebody made a sheriff publicly noise complaint at my commercial property. And I didn't want to deal with it, so I actually said to the county noise officer, to the, because you know I was mayor, and so I'm gonna go sit in my office. And we turned on every single truck in the parking lot, we turned on chainsaws, we made everything we possibly could. And it was at the property line and it didn't exceed the noise level. It was, I would say it was almost difficult to exceed the noise level. Also because I'm on 173, so they do it on a base noise level of the ambient area. And then the differential, and by the time you get that, I'm just about 3 acres, so it's not even a huge property. But we tried to exceed it, and couldn't do it. But it is a good backstop if you know.
That's what I'm thinking as a backstop, because, I think of some of the businesses that might wanna come in that would have these heavy duty generators or something like that, make sure that we have control over that.
Sure, if you have it, your template or. Okay, just share it a little, just put it.
Share it, separate call.
Yeah.
Can I email it to everyone, or do I email it to Christine and Christine?
Email it to Christine. Okay.
I have two questions. One, pre-existing, what happens with a pre-existing?
No, it's, there is no grandfathering of noise. So,
Well, it's public health and safety. No, it's not. Yeah.
you have to comply, there's no exceptions, and you can't have those impulsive characters during the nighttime hours.
And those regulations have been in effect for the state regs for years.
Yeah. Agriculture, how's agriculture treated in the noise ordinance?
I don't remember seeing anything specific for our agriculture, but I can look through it and read through it.
Maybe it's less of a problem because again, you're at the property line, so depending on where you put.
Do you drive to somebody's house late at night, leave in the field work early in the morning?
Well, road noise,
No, but harvesting on the edge of the property, could.
it's a lot louder than you think to get to 50 to 65 decibels.
Pretty loud.
It's pretty loud. A tractor's on.
Like I said, I have like that, my example before, we had like 72 decibels with all kinds of things running.
I don't remember where to put it. That's sound meter in here. It's very, I mean, you'd be surprised at how loud it is.
By the way, I don't know how accurate it is, but there's a dB sound level meter that you can download for your iPhone.
They're not that, I mean, I have it on my iPhone here. Right now we're measuring, well, I'm talking right here, but one of them not, it's down in the 30s, 40s. So it goes a long way, to get up to that 65 dB. If you have a tractor that's running and you took off the exhaust, yeah, you probably hit it. Put an exhaust on the tractor, I mean, but if it is a standard industrial equipment, it probably meets the specs anyway.
Well, we can, send it out.
So that would like to Christine and we can just take a look at it. It's a thick ordinance, so it can be printed out. It's got a lot of other stuff in it, but it's tried and true from New Jersey, so.
Thank you for doing the research and bringing it up. Anything else?
That's it for me.
Thank you. Mr. Cotton?
No.
Nelson?
Just one quick thing, I've been just working with the Historical Society on, we're gonna be cleaning up, the landscape and stuff around the little community center.
The date?
No, not yet.
Still want to host a meeting then? I want to host a meeting, especially now that this year, the 250th.
I'll tell you
I
guys.
wanted to host a meeting, well, Jeff will shake his head, because I don't know what's thinking aside, but we wanted to host a meeting there for years, for the 250th. I think we should be in there.
I'll tell
That's already in September, so I thought whether it be somewhat available.
I'll text her. I don't know, I don't know what the inside looks like. Couldn't tell you.
It's good.
I think it's more of a storage shed right now. So we would need volunteers, I'm thinking there might be some right up here.
Well,
We may have moved some school desks and stuff, they're sitting there. Okay,
residents sit in the school desk, and put them in the.
that would be kind of cool.
We'll talk about that. Report of Township Administrator, Ms. Moore.
I wanted to start off with, today we paid our, final debt payment, so we are now debt free. Big accomplishment. The auditors are done working, so we're just waiting on their final report. Tom had sent me a list of, vendors to reach out to, so I'm hopefully gonna get to do that tomorrow for the, farmhouse, for the demolition of the farmhouse. And then with, Judy talking about meeting with Auntie, regarding some of that and the cabling, I did have a meeting with Comcast, to talk with them about potentially doing something. They're gonna look into giving me a quote and what they're finding on how to figure out these internet issues that we're having. And, if it's gonna go fiber, you know what we're gonna do. You know, we put the fiber in to go from our building to the community center over to DPW, so hopefully that'll help, but, I don't know.
Let's keep us updated. Yes, it's not stable.
No,
Yeah, but it is tonight, which is weird.
Yeah, but it dropped out this afternoon.
Right, it's not out the second.
in that, yeah, and it did, but yes.
Okay.
And I was out this morning, but I believe the court was fine. So Comcast just had to like restart the modem or whatever it is. But they had to do, and that was it.
Okay, we'll keep on top of it and see how we make it better.
Yes.
Anything else?
I think other people touched on it, it was this, but we're good.
Any questions, Mr. No? Okay. Report of Township, report of Mayor. The, 2 hours worth of items. One, again, I just want to thank our DPW for their cleanup day. Mr. Judy, thank you very much for being there and, handling the tree. Thank you to our environmental commission. Thank you to our Boy Scouts for the clothing drive. I had to, travel that day, so I got here very early and, I think there was a line to get started and it just had a nice flow.
It was steady, it wasn't crazy.
But, it was definitely raining, all day, so thank you to our DPWs out there. Thank you. I know they were a contract with, the solid waste, their guys, helped me unload. They were out during the rain as well, so it was good. I want to thank them for that. The farmhouse, just, it is, will be put out, or we'll be investigating the best way to, complete the demolition, but, for those who are using the park, some are there, the fire companies are using it for training. They were there a few weeks ago, they'll be there May 30th, which is a Saturday, which is probably the more extensive training, and more invasive on the house in preparation of the demolition. So just want people to be aware if they see the fire companies there. I was with them the first training night and they left the lights on some of the fire trucks. So there were a lot of games going on and I don't know if they needed the lights on, but I just want residents to be alert, not worry about anything. But it was a good training exercise the first night. A lot of raccoons.
They've been living in that attic.
Yeah, some were still there.
Really?
All the hoses had to be washed down after being in the house, but it's
Yeah.
okay. They're happy. Just when you mentioned our auditors, Don, I just shared, we had our audit exit meeting today, so everything is in order, but when we have the official reports, we'll do more. But thank you to Sweeney for diligence all year through that allowed for clean audit again. And then newsletters I shared should be in mailboxes within the next week or so. And so look out for that. We'll have Mr. Denise put it on the website. Also, as a notice, some people reached out, and many probably don't remember, as one of, I think, our earlier hybrid meetings, there were, I believe, two, but one in particular, fiber optic companies that were coming through, and we'd asked the owner to present to the township. They were in hope at that time, as 4 or 5 years ago, they're finally starting to come through the area. They do have a utility right away. The township has no direct control, no permits, there's nothing. When that, person represented the company, they were just doing that as a courtesy. So I just want to share, that they're working in the area officially now. And then, they don't need permits and the different things that they may, so. The upsides, it sounds like there might be some alternative services, for residents in the future. And then the last one, my fellow committee members, you're gonna love this, I don't know. June 14th is, the 250th parade in Flemington, and they're looking for all municipalities to participate. Last time we did this was for the county of 300. Would we be willing to participate as a township? And would you be willing to, join? I won't make it March, we'll find, last time I found a convertible, I'll find a convertible. I do have a float base, so if we want to get a little crazy, we could make a Bethlehem Township float, as well, but, we'll gain, some confidence and further support before I said yes.
June 14th, so
June
we
14th.
build a float and
It's built, you just need to decorate it, it's built and ready to go. You put some Bethlehem signs on it instead of, certain museums. Put some lights and flags on it, but I built it a few years ago. And we can have scouts on it, and our scouting, our troops are a little small now, but maybe we can get them to join us, see, environmental commission can ride. But we can see who wants to join us, who want to do the flow, or we just go as a contingent, electives, which is pretty boring.
time frame.
I believe it's in the morning, I'll get the exact, I will send an email with the times, I'll send it to Mr. Spencer, and she can share that. All right, then I'll say yes, and we'll work it out. I will share it, it's just kind of history, and then since we, I don't like to talk about it, anyway, Mr. Thief, is no longer with us. I remember for the county 300th, I brought it up, at least I'm bringing this up now, before June 14th, but I don't know if Mr. Spencer remembers. We were not a very active committee, in the early days, and so there was the 300th parade on a Saturday, I made a meeting Thursday. And I said, who wants to go? Thinking that nobody wanted to go, and everybody said yes. So I quickly grabbed an old Cadillac, I took that quilt off the wall to nothing that said Bethlehem, and we draped it on the trunk of the car. Mr. Jimenez was with us, Mr. Keefe, Mr. Jimenez's wife, Mr. Gray, and myself. And there's nothing that said who we were, so we're driving through the parade, and everybody's just like, who are the 4 or 5 people in the car? Because Mr. Jimenez's wife was with us. And then finally, like, Mary Melfi announced, like, Bethlehem Township Committee, you like hear the applause, to finally people, like, and then as you got further away, people no longer could hear, they were back to like, who are those people? So maybe we'll start asking ahead of time this time, we'll get some Bethlehem signs so people know who we are. We are one of the original 7 founding towns, that was here during the revolution, so support for hosting a pole raising in October as part of this as well. At least we were one of the original Revolutionary War towns in Humboldt County, so. I'm excited, thank you.
June 14th is also.
Flag Day, yeah. So, awesome, thank you. Have a motion to open public comment.
Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Love.
Couple questions, the noise ordinance that you're thinking of, that's different than what we have, the peace and goodwill ordinance? So it would be something totally different.
In addition, actually.
In addition. And do you know if like, I've heard, data centers create like a low hum that gets generated for miles? Would that, even though it might not be over a certain decibel, it supposedly can be heard like 6 miles away?
It would have to follow the specs and the noise ordinance. I know this would help with data centers.
Helping as far as preventing that
Yes,
low hum 6 miles away? Okay.
I would believe so, from what I read of it.
Okay, that would be good. Okay. Just curious, okay, the WIP phase 1, April, you had said, DEP got it, but you're still waiting for the review?
They still haven't. So
Okay.
I think we gave.
Ryan,
Right.
it was, New Jersey Water Supply,
New Jersey.
Ryan and Kathy Hale.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did, and I was waiting for their report, but now they're saying it sounds like they're not gonna have, they were supposed to have something for us in February.
We did get an email from DEP saying we've received it and
Yeah.
it will be reviewed. DEP
Something.
right now is, their staffing is very,
Oh,
very low and, you know,
okay. Uh, one more question. So on the zoning report for block 32, lot 59, it says, at the last report, it says Highlands exemption to be applied for, and now it's saying Highlands exemption was received on April 27th and forwarded to Township Engineer. Can you explain the process again of when you get it, and was this an exemption you issued, and when does it get posted to the Highlands Bulletin?
so. Trying to remember which,
It was on, it's 173, I don't remember which property.
because we've got a couple of properties on 173.
Oh.
We're going
I
through.
think this might be the one on my note, I don't remember honestly.
So typically for the Highlands, if it's, I'm trying to think, on 173, there's only one Highlands exemption that we issued, that was on the,
21-1.
right, okay. The other ones were issued by, they actually went to the Highlands.
It is the one on Mine Road.
Oh, okay, and if the Highlands is issuing it, wouldn't it be on their bulletin?
I couldn't tell
You
you.
don't know,
I don't know,
okay.
I don't know how they.
You don't know how,
But one of the completeness requirements for any application coming to the land use board. In the ordinance, and it's not on the checklist, Monica and I are talking about adding it to the checklist, is you have to have your Highlands exemption before you can be deemed complete at the board,
mhm,
because there's no point in moving forward with the application if the Highlands denies the exemption.
mhm,
So there was one on 173 that did receive a Highlands exemption. And I know that their engineer is in the process of preparing plans to be submitted to the land use board.
okay, it's very confusing. And I don't know enough to understand and which exemption and the process, but I was just curious since it is on the
Yeah,
report
there's only a handful that,
of report.
that we as the township can issue.
Right,
Most
for,
of them deal with residential
mhm,
uses. And the only one really for commercial is you're allowed to increase the impervious coverage up to 125% of what's there. So say there's 10,000 square feet, you can only increase that up to
mhm,
12,005. Okay, as long as you don't exceed a quarter acre impervious, then that's a whole other thing. But usually it's residential at the township.
There's 7 total exemptions
Yeah,
that you're allowed, but they're all very like minimal.
right. And the Highlands has also told us that use the exemption that best fits to serve the applicant. So in other words, if
Right.
they request exemption number 2, but exemption number 4 makes more sense for them,
right.
then you grant the
Mhm.
number.
Mhm. Okay, don't know, but, and then, just want to say thank you, Christine, for sending the DPW out to my house. I don't think I'm the senior yet, but they were very helpful. They, 2 big dump trucks backed up my entire driveway uphill. Because they didn't know what they were gonna expect, but it was really, they were great, very courteous and prompt and
Thank
so,
you for acknowledgement. Thank you.
yeah.
And public comment? Close.
Make a motion to close.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We know items for executive session, and motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.